From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie B.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Tuesday, June the 14th, 2022. Digital host Louie B here with you on the Ticats Audio Network. Thanks for checking us out. Hopefully you've liked and subscribed us by now. Maybe you even have left a review on your favorite podcast catcher. But we appreciate it, and I appreciate you tuning in because we could not do this show without your support. We are now just 4 days away from the Ticats home opener, and I can tell you the new branding's going up in the stadium, a little bit more of a gold feel to it, but cannot wait until Saturday to see you here at Tim Hortons Field. And again, Saturday night, if you don't already, tickets available at ticats.ca. And it is our Hall of Fame game as head coach and president of football operations Orlando Steinauer gets his call to the Hall, as well as former Ticats standout defensive lineman Mike Walker. So a very exciting weekend down here at Tim Hortons Field. Hopefully you can join us either Friday and Saturday, or just Saturday, maybe just Friday too. But we'll have full coverage right here on the Ticats Audio Network. Speaking of which, brand new episode of the CFL this week just dropped. Brand new episode of the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker. That's now available. So you'll be able to hear what Coach thought of Saturday's game a little more in depth, as he's joined by Luke Tasker for that one. Minor new episodes of Morreale and Hitch, Tiger Cats this week, game day, all that stuff is right here on the Ticats Audio Network, your exclusive home of everything Hamilton Tiger Cats. Coming up on today's show, we're going to hear from Coach O. We'll hear from Simoni Lawrence, Bralon, Addison, Tunde, Adeleke. And speaking of the Ticats Audio Network and Tiger Cats Game Day, one of the hosts of that is Courtney Stephen, and he was down there at practice today and had a chance to catch up with him to get his thoughts on last Saturday's game and this Saturday's game, and a little talk on Coach O too. So that's all coming up right here on Ticats Today on the Ticats Audio Network. One piece of news and notes to tell you about. As it was announced this morning, the Ticats have made a signing as they signed National Offensive Lineman Andrew Pickett. The 26-year-old suited up in 13 games for the Red Blacks last season, seeing time at both center and guard. He's a 6'3", 323-pound native of Kitchener, originally selected out of the University of Guelph by the Red Blacks, 22nd overall in the 2018 CFL season. So, Andrew Pickett, the latest on that offensive line. The injury report will come out tonight at 5, so I can't really tell you who was out there, who wasn't, but tomorrow we'll have the injury report in hand. I can tell you Dane Evans was not out there today, and Coach is going to address it. And if you've been following this show, and if you know Dane, and he's been pretty open and on social media, his wife is expecting, has been expecting, and I don't have anything to tell you. Coach, well, we asked him about it, and in fact, here's what he had to say. Here's Coach O as he spoke after practice today.
Yeah, Dane just needed a personal day, so nothing to worry about. He's not on a chopping block or anything. Dane will be out there, we assume tomorrow, but he had a personal day today. Well, no, the score didn't change, so that's not it. But I saw a lot of things that were positive. You know, the glaring weaknesses are easy. Those are easy to find. But I think we're gonna have a decent football team. We got to go out and prove it. We're not into moral victories and those type of things, but we are going to take away things that we're proud of, things that we emphasize that did happen. And but other than that, it's in the rearview mirror. We're heading out the windshield. We're moving on. Well, it depends if we can field the same lineup. All right, so we got bit by the injury bug in the game a little bit, and so you have to practice. And so there's sometimes there's dual reasons, sometimes even more than that, of why you bring people in. But I thought Andrew came out there and he was a willing participant and did a nice job for us today. I would say that there was focus. There was a good level of focus, and it's new, right? It's the first one. It was meaningful. It was on the road. You marinate on the loss a little bit different. You have to fly on the airplane. And so every year your team is different. But, you want to find a way to win those football games. And at the end of the day, we lost, and we'll grow from it, and we'll be better.
That is the head coach and president of football operations of the Ticats, Orlando Steinauer, and of course going into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame officially on a Friday night and celebrated as part of Saturday's game. All right, let's hear from Simoni Lawrence. We had a chance to catch up with him after practice. Here's what he had to say, and just a reminder, full scrums available at ticats.ca, but here's Sim after practice today.
I feel motivated. Sometimes you need that stuff, especially early in the season. It's a very long season. Last year, we played like 15 games, 12 games, something like that. It's an 18-game season. It's very long, and we had a lot to learn from, Like, it's not too, you can learn off wins, but you learn a lot more off of losses. And we don't go into any game to lose. We want to win every single game, but, we definitely learned a lot from that game. It's just the Hamilton way, like anytime you get punched in the mouth a little bit, like you're not going to sit down and just like be quiet about it. You're going to come back out and try to punch somebody else in the mouth. That's just the way it is in Hamilton. Nobody lays down for nothing. I feel like it's just one of those things, like when you're really good at football and you dominate people and you don't show any mercy, it's one of those things where it's like, what can we do to like calm them down and make them like play on the same playing field? Because like, honestly, like it's kind of easy out there, like, physically and stuff like that. And, like I understand, like they want the game to be super safe and everything. But my job as a football player is to stop the other team. And I try to do everything within the rules and everything. And, I work hard and I feel like everybody else works hard, but like at the end of the day, ain't nobody stopping anything. I mean, Hamilton's just one of those places, like, it's just a beautiful sight to see, You see all the new banners coming up. You see all the new sponsors joining in the Hamilton. It's just one of those things, like, everybody wants to be a part of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We do a lot for the community. The community does a lot for us. And, it's a great place to be a part of. Everywhere I go, they talk about the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I live out in Grimsby, and me walking my dog is like walking through Caretaker's Lounge on game day. And, the Hamilton Tiger Cats is the #1 sports group in Hamilton. And, like, I would say, like, in Ontario, if you ask me, the way we get treated. This is going to be one of those playoff fields, you know what I mean? Anytime you get the opportunity to play in front of our fans, I tell people all the time, like, we could have 10,000 people in the stadium, which we won't. But, like, it'll sound like 50,000. And that's just the Hamilton way. And I don't think people really understand that until they get here because, like, one Hamiltonian is like about 6 people from Saskatchewan to me.
And that is Simoni Lawrence as we caught up with him after practice and getting a little deep there. I asked him why he is such a polarizing figure there and had a good response to it. And I will admit I have blocked people on Twitter over their arrogance. That's not the right word. But I've blocked people on Twitter over their hot takes on Simoni. I really don't have time for it. He plays within the rules. He has been suspended, yes. And if that hit on Cody Fajardo, which a lot of people got angry about, and even Cody Fajardo said something about it himself, that he was a little bit injured. You had Craig Dickinson talking about how Simoni's a violent player. But I have nothing but respect for Simoni, and yes, he plays the game with an edge, but he plays within the rules, except for those times that he has been suspended. Otherwise, if he's not following the rules, there are things in place for him to have to suffer the consequences of not. So anyway, he did get flagged for that hit, but still, Simoni Lawrence, I don't need to defend him. He doesn't need me to defend him, but a heck of a football player, and his resume and his all-time defensive tackles certainly speak for themselves. All right, a couple more pieces of audio from practice. Let's hear from Tunde Adeleke. Here's what he had to say after practice today.
It felt good to be out there again. Like it always sucks to lose a game, but there was a lot of things we can learn from that, and there was a lot of good parts in that game for the defense and the offense too later in the game. So we've learned a lot from that game, from yesterday, watching film and everything. So it's just good to get back on the field. There's a lot of vets in this room, so we know he's got to move on to the next week. We're just trying to play Calgary right now. I think I can say for the DBs for sure, and the D-line, most of the guys have been here. It's just like there's practically 2 new additions on defense, right? And those are both very seasoned vets. So Darby came in here and he was already ready. He seemed like he was like in the playbook from day one, you know? So it's nice to have guys like that as additions to the room. So it didn't really feel like we had new guys in the room to mesh. It just felt like we were just starting off where we left off from the previous year. And Richard was here in 2019, so it's nice to have a guy like that back. No, I think no matter what, like, it's a football game. If we have to be on the field all game to win the game, we have to get it done. So I think this is something that carried over from last year, just finishing. That's a big thing for us. We've always been great in the first, second, and third quarter, and it's the fourth quarter. We need to figure that out, and that's something that we need to work on, obviously, and it's something we will get done by the end of the year. I don't know. If I knew, we'd fix it by now. So yeah, it's just something we're working on. Like, clearly we're good enough to play defense. You know, clearly we're good enough to hold teams to field goals off turnovers and things like that. So we just need to figure it out and fix it up.
That is Tunde Adeleke as we caught up with him after practice. And one more piece of audio here as we caught up with Bralon Addison. Here's what he had to say after day one of practice down at Tim Hortons Field.
We just got to look at the tape and, you know, see the things we did well, correct the things we did wrong. And, you know, we know it's a long season. We went into a hostile environment against a good team. We thought we played well until the last, 3 minutes or so. So it's definitely stuff to build on there. And like I said, it's a lot to correct. But now, it's moving on forward to week 2. Calgary, another good team coming in here. And we just got to be ready to protect home field. They're a good group, disciplined as far as, in their details and their coverages and things like that. They got guys up front that can play well. They got backers that play well. And I think their secondary is actually pretty decent, with their technique and things once you get in the pedal. Their field half and their boundary half and their Sam aren't scared to get in the run game. So we got to bring the physicality to them this week, and, we know it's going to be a battle. I felt great. It felt great to be out there with the team and compete again and, put on that jersey. So, I want to keep getting better every week, keep building and, just get better as a team. But it felt great to be back out there and compete with my brothers. I didn't think so. I thought SAS, especially, they're going to do what they do. I think you'll see all week, even in the preseason, they pressed at times and they played their zone coverages at times. They sent their pressures and their stunts at times. So I don't think SAS did anything different than, what we would have expected them to do from any other team. I think, that team is going to be a team that they're going to do what they do consistently on a weekly basis. I thought for the most part, minus some mistakes we had, we executed, pretty decent. Could be a lot better, but I don't think they did anything as far as game plan wise versus us. I thought they did what they do on a normal basis.
And that is Bralon Addison. And a reminder, full scrum is available at ticats.ca. Very pleased now to be joined by my friend Courtney Stephen. He's host of Tiger Cats Game Day alongside Mike Daly. And Court, let's get right into it. Your thoughts on what you saw on Saturday night?
I saw what a lot of people were expecting to see, which was a test for a lot of the different position groups. I thought that the Cats played a preseason that gave us a lot of hope, but also left a few things to be decided. And in that first contest, there was a real battle up front. Offensive line got nicked up. They were challenged, and I think that will be one of the places where the focus will stay for the foreseeable future. But I also saw some flashes of some really impressive stuff. I mean, they played a tough game. It was close all the way to the end. They had an opportunity to win, and some of the wins won't be beautiful. They say that a W is a W, though. So as long as you're in it in the fourth quarter, that's all you can hope for. Starting out early in the season, I think there's things to build on, but obviously there's a lot of work to do.
A long season, right? There's 17 more games, or as coach would say, there's 17 more tests after that. But when you start a season like that, what's it like coming in for week 2 after result? First practice here, what would that be like when you were a player?
Well, you got the 24-hour rule. After any win or loss, you could think about it, you can mope around, but then it's back to work. And these guys are pros. The coaches have been here before. The players have been here before. It's no one won any trophies, right? So just staying focused on the opportunity ahead. They got a great opponent coming into town for their home opener against Calgary, and I think you're going to see a revitalized, energized Ticat team who's knocked some of the kinks out and is ready to prove some things to themselves and to the league.
Now, you mentioned the offensive line, the struggles there, but one of the elements that might be overlooked is just how good special teams was. Sean Thomas Erlington forcing that fumble, some good coverage, obviously a spot in the field well. What'd you see from that group?
Well, you got to give a tip of the hat to Craig Butler. His team, his special teams were well prepared, and you need all three sides to compete and have a chance to win. Special teams definitely showed up. I know they punted the ball 9 times. It's not what you're exactly looking for, but in an area that was of question or of concern before in the punt game, I thought they did an outstanding job. Coverage, of course, the returns gave them a few shots to start at a positive drive position on the field, and then of course forcing a turnover. So whenever you can do that, you're giving your chance field position and extra possessions. You're giving them a chance to win the game, and they did a great job there.
Now, you mentioned Saturday's game. It's a big one as we see a couple Ticats go into the Hall of Fame, including Coach O as a player, Orlando Steinauer. Obviously, you didn't play with him as a player, but you've seen the tape. Just your thoughts on O being inducted this week.
Well, when there's a guy who's been a all-star at 3 different positions, he's played 12 years. When you're taking coaching from that person, it comes with a different weight, a different credibility. So it'll be a great day for him. I know that as a person, he'll be proud, but on that day, he's going to be focused on getting a W. So, hats off to Coach O, one of the people who's a very important role in this current team, but also an important role in that Ticats fabric of that black and gold.
Thanks, Court.
Appreciate you.
And my thanks to Courtney for joining me down at practice today. And I told you I would have to wait until tomorrow to get you the injury report, but it has just been handed to me right now, and I can tell you that Carriel Brooks did not practice. He's dealing with a back injury. Alex Fontana did not practice. He's got a knee issue. Don Jackson was limited with the knee. Cam Kelly was limited. Jovan Santos Knox was limited. Kyle Saxla did not practice. He's dealing with an ankle injury. Dylan Wynn did not practice. He's dealing with a calf injury, and that's the Ticats injury report from day 1 of practice, and that is Ticats today from day 1 of practice. Thanks for checking us out. Really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, let us know how you feel about the show. Let me know how you feel at Louie B _TV. We are back tomorrow at Tim Hortons Field for the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louie B, hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today can be heard every weekday, and we would like to hear from you. Email us at gameday@ticats.ca. Have a question or an opinion? We want to hear it. That's gameday@ticats.ca. Subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.